How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Game Over. Today I'm going to adjust the camera ever so slightly.
There we go.
And that's the whole video, guys.
Alright,
See you next time. Okay, so today we are bringing you a deck profile. This is my deck profile for the new, more updated Trickstar. After Savage Strike came out and Korribane came out and Live Stage and all that other fun stuff. It is a pure Trickstar deck profile, so it's a little different than a lot of decks run. Pure Trickstar isn't as common right now, but it's still actually quite good competitively. And it is a really, really fun deck. I really, really enjoy it. Anyways, on to today's deck profile. So starting off with the first, level 1, we have 2 copies of Eater of Millions. Run him at 2. He's really good if you're kind of stuck in a rut. Basically, just banish stuff to bring him out. He's a decent attacker, and he just has a couple of good effects. I mean, he's Eater of Millions. Doesn't see a ton of play anymore, but he's still actually not a bad option as a tech in this deck, in case you ever just kind of get locked. Like, I was playing against Nate earlier, and I got stuck in a game where I ended up playing negates the whole game, which was fine, but he still beat me because I bricked, and Eater really would have helped get me out of a bit of a sticky situation. Alright, next up, we are running 3 copies of Droll and Lockbird for obvious Droll reincarn reasons. Get more into that in a minute. You know, he's basically just shut off your opponent drawing, so you pop reincarnation, discard Droll from hand, and your opponent ends up with no hand, which is good. Now, a lot of you guys are going to fight me on this, but I run 2 copies of Trickstar Lilybell. A lot of people say, oh, only run 1, only run 1. I have always had better luck running 2 than I have had running 1. Running 1, I kept losing games. I started running 2, I kept winning games. So, I gotta run 2. It just seems to fit with my juju. So we're going 2 copies of Trickstar Lilybell. Alright, next up. Next hand trap, actually. Got 2 copies of Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. Again, just a really good negate, really good hand trap. Trickstar Pure is basically just Trickstar hand traps. So this is a really, really good card for that. And obviously we're going to move on next to the 3 mandatory copies of Ash Blossom and Joy Spring. Yes, these are not the common versions.
Which means it's
I like it as shiny. But Ash, because it's Ash, I mean, she's finally a lot more reasonably priced now. Especially with her coming out as a common in the Salamangreat deck that actually just came out literally 3 hours ago as I'm recording this video. So it's great. Moving on to the actual Trickstars now, once again. 3 copies of Trickstar Lycoris. She is your burn engine for this deck. She is really what makes this deck as annoying as it is. Hang on, I need water.
Is that some high quality H2O?
Sure. Alright, next up in the Trickstar lineup, we have 3 copies of Trickstar Candina. She's just your search. You summon her. Ideally, you're looking to pull out, if you don't have it already, Trickstar Light Stage. Then with Light Stage, you pull out Trickstar Lycoris and activate Lycoris' effect in hand. Special summon her, return Candina to hand to repeat the process the next turn to get out another Lycoris, because every time you have Lycoris on the field, you're burning your opponent for more damage every time they draw at the start of their turn, or every time you force them to draw off of Trickstar Reincarnation. So we have 3 of Candina, your big search. Next we have the new one, and I'm, again, probably going to get fought on the ratios for this, 2 copies of Trickstar Korribane. She is kind of like Honest. Instead of adding your opponent's attack, it doubles your base. But here's the thing. She special summons herself if you only control Trickstars or if you control no monsters. She has 2,000 attack. She is beefy. And you're basically running majoritively Trickstars. That's pretty much all you're going to be summoning to the field, except for like maybe 2 cards. So she's good to fight with in a pinch. But she's also a searchable Honest off of Candina and off of Light Stage, which is why you run her in this instead of Honest. Next, we have another really great card, Dino Wrestler Pankratops. Basically because he's a self-tribute negate. Run him at 2. Special summons himself if your opponent controls more monsters than you, which a lot of times they'll end up doing. especially with like link spam decks. You go up against one of those, you can just drop Pankratops for free and destroy something, which is absolutely fantastic. Helps out in a lot of situations. Alright, moving on to the spells. We are running, unfortunately, only one copy of Scapegoats, as it just got hit to 1, which is sad. Sad face. This deck works a lot better when you can link a lot quicker, especially when Scapegoat was at 3. That's how long I've been playing this deck. It was a lot better back then. That's why I'm kind of exploring a new avenue with the potential zombies and stuff like that. Just because I need this to come back. Please, Konami, give me Scapegoat back. Alright, we're running 1 copy of Raigeki, for obvious reasons. 2 copies of Terraforming to help increase the chances of you getting out Trickstar Light Stage. 2 copies of Desires, for when you brick. Hopefully you don't brick, but I have bricked. And I've also bricked and banished my entire Trickstar engine. That was a bad game. 3 copies of Call by the Grave. Really good to just stop your opponent's in-grave effects, especially against, I don't know, Nate plays Turbo, Blue Eyes, Ritual. A lot of in-grave effects. Really good card to shut him off, so it makes me very happy. Obviously, we're going to run 3 copies of Trickstar Light Stage. This is the mandatory field spell. And really, even though it's cheaper than Live Stage now, it has had more printings, which makes sense. This is what you want to run. Live Stage is okay, but it's really not that great. I mean, you could tack it in at 1 if you really wanted to, but I prefer to just run the straight 3 copies of Light Stage. It works very well. So we have 3 copies of that. 1 copy of Storming Mirror Force. Great card, just stopping attacking. A lot of people don't do this anymore, but I still use it a lot, believe it or not, is 2 copies of Torrential Tribute. Now, the good thing about this is typically, this is great late game, your opponent has a really beefy board, lots of monsters set up that they can attack at you with, and you've got, say, 2 copies of Reincarnation Engrave and just 2 copies of, like, Lycoris on board or something, or a Lilybell and a Lycoris. Say you had a rough game so far. You just drop Torrential and then banish both Reincarnations from the grave. You get all your stuff back and all their monsters are gone. So it does help. You could also run this at 1, just because, but I run it at 2. I've had a lot better luck running it at 2, but that's just me. Everybody's a little different in their deck build. And lastly, we run the 3 mandatory copies of Trickstar Reincarnation, because Reincarn Droll, it's a great card, gets your Trickstars back from grave, really disrupts your opponent. If you don't Droll, you're burning them with Lycoris on board. It's just a really great card. Alright, so let me get this out of the way, and then we will move on to the extra deck. Alright, now that's all cleaned up, onto the extra deck. Running 1 copy of Link Karibo. Really good if you can manage to get the Scapegoat off. You go into him and you use him to go into a bunch of other stuff. He's got good effects. I mean, he's Link Karibo for Pete's sakes. Even for the common, he's $5. So if that tells you anything, that's pretty good. So we got 1 copy of Link Karibo, 1 copy of Link Spider, just a good generic Link, just a normal monster. Again, off of Scapegoats is typically what you want to do. Nightmare Mermaid, just part of the Nightmare group. You don't really go into her that often, but I mean, when you do, she can help. Just, you probably really won't go into her. If you do, it's ludicrously rare. There's usually better options. Yes, she's a Link 1. Yes, she requires a Nightmare monster. There's other ways you can get her out, but still. Running 1 copy of Nightmare Phoenix, 1 copy of Nightmare Cerberus, 1 copy of Akashic Magician. She's just a good generic Link monster. She goes good in a lot of decks, and this is no exception. 1 copy of Space Insulator, and I will get into why we run him. He's very helpful. Copy of Underclock. copy of Trickstar Holly Angel. She pairs really well with the deck itself because you're special summoning Trickstars, and if you summon into zone she points 2, then that activates her effect and she burns. So that's helpful. New Trickstar monster, Trickstar Diveritas. Similar thing. You gain 200 life though every time you summon a card to the zone she points to. 1 copy of Ningarsu. 1 copy of Summon Sorceress, because she's just really good. I mean, it's Summon Sorceress. She's just really good. Alright, now here's why we run Space Insulator. Trispania. Basically, you summon him, you link him away, his effect brings him back from grave to a zone that Trispania points to, and then that triggers Trispania's effect, which also burns your opponent. Which is great, because this is basically a burn deck, but at the same time, you don't play it full burn. You can, it's fun. Okay, camera decided to cut out on me again. Readjust that. 1 copy of Topologic Bomber Dragon. He's just another good one of in here. Again, you don't really go into him that often. Typically, you want to skip over him and go right for Borload, because Borload is Borload. He really just kind of helps you manipulate your opponent's board. And I mean, Boral Sword is way better, but Boral Sword is getting up to like $100 a copy. I really don't want to buy him because I know he's going to get reprinted in the Megatins in like 4 or 5 months. So I'm happy with waiting until the Megatins to get Boral Sword. But so I'm using Borload till then, because Borload is still pretty darn good. Basically just lets you not affected by effects, take control of something your opponent controls, yada 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 yada, so on and so forth. Everybody knows about Borload. Literally everybody. So if you don't know about Borload, learn about Borload. You'll see why you need to learn about Borload. But alright guys, that has been my deck profile for my pure Trickstar hand trap build. We'll be doing more deck profiles in the near future. But
as we build more decks. I'll have some coming soon. I just gotta get it all.
He's gotta get his crap together.
In all areas of my life.
Same. Alright guys, that's it for this video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you want to stay up to date on all of our newest videos. Follow us on all of our social media pages supporting, you know, the game over. And
the game over. Alright.
Until then, we will see you guys in the next video.
This has been
Game Over.